This Mars bar has 3 parts. It has chocolate on the outside, and then caramel, and then nougat. 3 delicious parts, 1 Mars bar. And this can teach us a little bit about God. We have one God. He is God the Father, He is the Son, that's Jesus, and He is also the Holy Spirit. And today we are going to learn more about the Holy Spirit. We can find Him right from the very first page of the Bible, when the world was made, making something wonderful out of darkness. And then all through the Old Testament, that's this first part of the Bible, we can see Him coming specially to certain people, to prophets and to priests and to kings, to give them power that they didn't have before. So we can see Him coming to people like Joseph and giving him power to understand dreams. To a guy in Exodus called Bezalel, giving him the power to create beautiful things for the temple. To Samson, giving him super strength enough to take down a whole building. And to Samuel, starting when he was a boy and continuing through his whole life, giving him the power to understand what God was saying and to pass that message on to other people. And we can see Him coming to more and more people all through the Old Testament. But through it all, we can hear whispers that God didn't want the Holy Spirit just to be for some people, for prophets and priests and kings. In fact, God's plan all along was for the Spirit to come to all people, everyone who believed in Him. When we're outside, we can see the trees moving or the grass swaying, and we know that that's the wind. The wind is invisible, but we can often see what it does and we can feel it. And that's really similar to the Holy Spirit. He's invisible to our eyes, but we can often see what He's doing or feel Him as He's touching our heart. The Bible often describes the Holy Spirit as like a mighty rushing wind. And just like the wind, He can be really powerful, but He can also be so gentle, just like a gentle breeze with His children. So although the Bible uses words like a fire, a mighty river, a wind to describe the Holy Spirit, we need to remember that the Holy Spirit is a person. He loves us, He guides us, He strengthens us, and He comforts us. About 120 of Jesus' friends were waiting in Jerusalem. He had told them to wait there for the time when He would send the Holy Spirit. So there they were, praying and worshiping, when suddenly there was a sound like a mighty rushing wind in the room where they were gathered. And as they looked around, it looked like tongues of fire were resting on all of their heads. And suddenly they were able to speak in languages that they had never learned before. But the biggest change was actually happening on the inside of the disciples. Up until now, they had been quite afraid. They had been hiding, they had been fearful. Suddenly, they were filled with a new courage and a boldness that they had never had before. And filled with the Holy Spirit, they went outside into the streets and they started to speak to people and tell them how much Jesus loved them, that He had died for their sins to be forgiven. We see other changes in the disciples too after this. They were able to heal and to do miracles, something that we would love to see more happening in the church today. Their hearts, which had been cold and stony, gradually became more joyful, more loving, more full of hope as they were filled more and more with the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit isn't just in the Bible. He is here with us today, and God has promised that He is for everyone who believes in Jesus, men and women, young and old.